Hi guys, this is me Osama Gaza. Welcome to another tutorial, and in today's video we'll see how to create this audio reactor as you guys saw in the beginning of this video. It's really easy and doesn't require a lot of effort. Everything can be happening here in Adobe After Effects. So yeah, let's start just step by step and see how we can do that. So as you guys can see, the first step will be starting a new composition, and it's 1920 by 1080. And if you don't have that, all you need to do is just let me delete this. Go to this icon over here, click it, and make sure that the width is 1920 pixels, the height is 1080, and hit OK, and you have your composition. The second step will be actually dragging an audio file like a soundtrack or like any song you have on your computer. So let me grab that. So let's see, yeah, this one is okay. And even if you don't have the audio, I'm not going to be activating the audio here, but you have to fix the settings in order to hear your audio file, but I'm not going to do that because my computer is going to crash. So the second step will be actually going to the effects panel and searching for something called audio spectrum. Drag it and drop it, but before that we have to create a solid layer, and we can just make it black. Drag the audio spectrum on the new solid layer we just created, and as you guys can see here, we have this new line. Alright, so now the second step will be rearranging these layers, so the music file must be at the top. And now what I'm going to do is changing this audio layer to Selenium, and what that does is connecting the audio spectrum effect to the music file we have in here in our composition. Alright, so now if we just try to play our timeline, as you guys can see, the frequency bands start moving up and down with the music. But we're going to fix that. We're not going to leave it like this. Alright, so first of all, what I'm going to do is change the maximum height a little bit in order to make it more visible. And by the way, guys, there is no fixed way to adjust these settings. I'm just trying to do this up to my taste, so you can just feel free to do it the way you want it, right? So something like this, and it might go a little bit crazy, and I'm gonna change the frequency band. I'm gonna increase it a lot, then go down to the color, the inside color. I want it to be more bluish, and the outside color, I'm gonna make it like super white. Then what else we can do? Oh yeah, the side options. Alright, so the side option controls where these bands are going to move. So if you keep it side A and B, it means that it's going to be moving up and down in the same time. But if you change that to side A, so it's only going to be moving upwards. And if you try to change it to B, it's going to be moving down. But I'm actually going to leave it side A and B for now, or just side B. It will be enough. Alright, so what else we can do now? First of all, we want to create a circle shape as we watched in the beginning of this video, right? So what I'm going to do is just make sure that you're highlighting the solid layer, the one we have the audio spectrum effect onto. Then go to the rectangle tool, click and hold, then drag to the ellipse tool, right? And hold shift on your keyboard and create a perfect circle like this, alright? Then drag it just down a little bit, then go to path and connect it to mask 1, and that will happen, guys. Alright guys, so here's a very important thing. Let me just zoom a little bit. If you guys can see here, it seems like something is cutting the edges of my frequency bands, and in order to fix that happened because we created a mask. Alright, so in order to fix that, all we need to do is just go to the invert button over here and hit it, and as you guys can see, we fixed it. Right, let me just zoom out again. Hit fit, and yeah. Alright, and if you don't think that the frequency bands look right, what you can do is go to thickness and softness and try to change these values as much as possible. Try to get something that is like perfectly customized, and try to come up with something that you really want, okay? And even if you don't like how these music bands look like, you can change that from digital to analog lines, for instance. So it's gonna look more like in electricity or whatever you want to call it, or analog dots if you want to have like more dotted shape. So you have a lot of options here. All you need to do is just try to navigate through and discover what fits you the most. And now what I'm going to do is go again to the effects panel and search for something called Gaussian Blur. I'm just trying to make this effect more glowy, and in order to do this we have to drag and drop this Gaussian Blur under Blur and Sharpen, not the obsolete one, and try to increase this value. And we forgot to change it back to digital, so I'm going to do that. All right, and as you guys can see, if your computer run a little bit slow, what you can do is just change the render quality to half or third. My computer is going to crash as it seems. So all right, now it's super glowy. So in order to fix that, we can create another copy from our layer. Just make sure that you're highlighting your layer, not the effect. Press Command D and go to the upper layer and delete the Gaussian blur effect, so that you actually make sure that the Gaussian blur effect is only applied onto the second copy. Right, now play your timeline. Yeah, it looks pretty much cooler now. What we can also do is search for something called glow. Under stylize, drag it onto the second layer, the one we have the Gaussian blur on. Then increase the radius a little bit and the intensity, let's say to 10. See how it looks like. Alright, that's pretty cool already. Alright guys, so what I'm trying to do here is showing you the process, what exact steps I go through in order to come up with this effect. So these are the effects I am going to be used if I'm trying to come up with something like that. So first of all, I'm going to be starting with a black solid layer in order to drag and drop my audio spectrum effect onto. Then the second thing I'll be trying to create a copy and activate the Gaussian blur effect on the second copy. And on the same exact copy, I'm going to be dragging and dropping the glow effect in order to make it look more fancy, more glowy, and more visible, basically. Alright guys, so the last step here will be actually using the trapcode plugin in order to create more glowy particles around this audio spectrum effect. But since I don't already have the trapcode plugin, so what I'm going to do is just using a created by Andy Kramer, I guess. I don't really remember the name of the developer, but I'll make sure to leave the link to that down in the description so that you can go and download this template. It's super great, and for those who are more interested in how to create these particles from scratch, you can go to this website or find this developer on YouTube and watch more of his videos. Really great guy, like super professional when it comes to Adobe After Effects. I personally learned a lot from him, and if you want to get more in depth in learning how to use the trapcode plugin, this is my first recommendation for you guys. Right, so first of all, I'm going to be increasing the scale a little bit and just reduce the opacity in order for me to see what's going on underneath. Then drag this down to make it perfectly fit around the audio spectrum effect I created. Then what I'm going to do is go to the mode and change the blended mode to screen or even add. Alright, looking good already. Alright, so that was pretty much everything about the audio spectrum effect in Adobe After Effects, guys. Of course, you can customize and adjust the settings as much as possible. And if you want to get even above and beyond, you can just learn how to use the trapcode plugin in Adobe After Effects. Highly recommend it. Like, I personally try to learn it now. I'm trying to buy all the plugin, all the packages included. It's really amazing and adds up a lot to your skills as a video editor. So make sure again to check this channel. I'll make sure to leave the link to that down in the description. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you next time.